walk around of the car. We have a 2004 BMW X5 3.0. Not very strong, but it gets us where we need to go. It doesn't have a lift kit on it yet. I plan on getting a lift kit. It's been in the mail for 6 months now. It's a custom lift kit, so it has to be manufactured and all that jargon. The tires we have on it are Nitto Terra Grappler G2s. The size is, how big is this? It's the biggest that can go in here with barely rubbing, but it still rubs. They're 285/60 R18s. Good beefy tire, but they don't make a whole lot of road noise, which is what I was going for. I was going for something that had a lot of grip, but it doesn't make a whole lot of when you're driving on the freeway. It does some, but not as much as the big ones. The roof rack we built out of 1.25" conduit. It's pretty strong, actually. We've had both of us up here. Easily holds our weight, and the cross beams in here are 1-inch conduit, and then I welded all the seams myself, except for this bracket. Each one of these brackets we had welded by a professional welder. They're the worst welds I've ever seen. My welds, I ground all my welds down, all my cross beams. There might be some pinholes. When we had to cut this top part off to fit our rooftop tent, which is not up here because we misplaced the hardware somewhere. But we'll show you guys that in another video. So we cut that off. It had wood planks because we were storing totes up here. The totes we no longer need to store because we built this. This is a 22-inch. This is unrelated. This is a 22-inch curved LED light bar, 120 watts. It's bright enough to fit our needs. It's way better than the stock tiny reverse lights, especially when you're on a mountain. And we actually went up a mountain and we had to back down because the road, it got too treacherous and really narrow. It got really narrow, so we couldn't turn around, and we also couldn't see, so we had to have a person get out and walk us with a flashlight, which was cumbersome, but this alleviated that. Inside we built this upper storage rack. That's Thorn. He's here. Sorry if I'm all shaky. It's cold. We built this upper storage rack to store little things like our battery holders, which will be mounted somewhere. Our headlamps, which will have a permanent home soon. These are, I think, 90 lumen spot beam headlamps with red and white. So, yeah, we'll get 2 of those. We're going to keep our napkins and soft stuff up here, things that we don't want to get damaged. So the headliner, it's mounted to the headliner with rivets, 1/8-inch rivets, 4 of them on each leg. Underneath the headliner I have plate steel. So these are riveted into plate steel underneath the headliner. So it's being held up by the headliner, but the rivets are actually biting into something solid. So just light stuff, easy to access, soft stuff. Below that rack, we store, these aren't tight enough, I need to get some smaller ones, some tighter ones, but we have storage for basically anything that can fit up here, that can go under this. We're going to probably put like our clothes and stuff there, and we might be able to fit a cooler in here if we find a low profile one that fits between here and where the glass shuts. It's pretty narrow. We have our fire extinguisher mounted here. This is just a generic kitty, I think, automotive fire extinguisher, just riveted onto the plastic frame. Over here we have a heater. It's a portable buddy, Mr. Heater. This is going to go inside of our tent for like emergency heating if we wake up and we're like chilled to the bone, because we plan on doing a lot of winter camping. If we're chilled to the bone, we'll just kick this heater on just to get enough heat in the tent, and then we'll turn it off. We're not going to leave it on for prolonged periods of time because I'm afraid of tent fires. And I built this little heat deflector to deflect the heat from going straight up to kind of coming out and then up, so we could put it closer to the tent wall without worry of it burning us down. This box we made out of 9/16 plywood. We made it in a way that we can store all of our stuff. We can keep this closed and we can still access whatever we decide to put up here. We bought a Thor manufacturing power inverter, 400 watt, 900 watt peak. That's going to go here, mounted on the side, so we'll have power. We have two 12-volt cigarette lighters on this side that we left available. Inside here we have tow straps and our first aid kit, which we need to relocate because this box is in the way now. Yeah, we'll show you the drawers. You want to go through the drawers with them?
Sure. This is my favorite part. This is our galley. We were inspired by Expedition Overland on this part. Not nearly as cool, but I really wanted to make the entire back of our car dedicated to kitchen stuff. So you open it up, and first we've got like really easy to access snacks, and then if you continue, like this is all just our food storage. Spices, dry goods, canned goods, lots of instant potatoes in case we need it. And I realize that this is a lot more than you would need for a weekend, but you never know what happens out there, and if we're trying some new stuff and some new terrain, we want to be prepared for anything. And then I also recommend keeping like a journal in here that has a list of everything you have, and you kind of mark off what you use as you go so you can restock it without being stuck out there and realizing that you forgot to add stuff last time. Push that in, and then if you come over here, we have all of the tools and equipment that we need for cooking, as well as some dry stuff which we might end up putting up here, but I'm not sure yet. All of our propane, we've got the enamel cups, plates, bowls, and forks and spoons. We have enough dishware and eatingware for 4 people. We do like to bring guests when we're camping, and we don't expect them to have all the necessary stuff to do that. So we've got, this is one of my other favorite things when you open it up here. It's got a whole bunch of cooking stuff. I love this. This is my absolute favorite forte of the camping trips. I love to cook while camping. We just got this, and we'll test that out on our next trip and hopefully show you some yummy crock-pot recipes, or whatever they're called, Dutch oven recipes. But yeah, that's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, just equipment, food. We still have our stove. We're going to hopefully find a place for that up here somewhere, or we might rearrange this in a different way and put things in different places, but we'll work on it as we go. And then it's easy to just close it up and you're good.
Underneath this box where the spare tire was, we're going to have a spare battery for auxiliary power and things like that. And then also maybe that's where the air compressor will go, so we can air down our tires and air them back up when we hit the streets. But yeah, that's where all the auxiliary power will be coming from. Not our starting power, not our starting battery. So we installed this trailer hitch. The plan was not to have this giant bar down here, but at least it gives us something to maybe bump our butt on when we go over a big rock, and instead of damaging the fuel tank or the battery compartment or something, it just hits this and bounces it up and probably makes a pretty good dent in it. I plan on fabbing up a piece that comes from here, extends the length of the bumper, and has a dual tire swing has a tire swing on one side and just an equipment swing on the other side. So we'll have jerry cans of fuel, water, all the stuff that you might need out there. And then also there's going to be a propane tank on it, maybe a little 10-pound propane tank up here to provide fuel for either the tent heater or the cooktop stove, so we don't have to keep carrying around these little 1-pound unrefillable little containers. I know you can refill them, but it's dangerous. I don't want to. Inside,
comes with a dog. That is standard.
Stay.
Go inside.
We did not do much modification to the inside yet. We plan on putting knives or some kind of safety, maybe rivet it to the door so you can have that, bear spray, whatever. You have access to the rack from the inside. We used to have the snacks up there, but we've since relocated them, so that was kind of important to have access to the rack. But yeah, we're not really going to use that anymore. And this piece I have to put back on because it fell.
But we kind of wanted to leave it open because, like we said, we like to bring our family, and they don't all have rigs that can go. So we don't really want to compromise the back seat too much, but we'll do a slight modification.
If we need to, we could fold these seats down and, you know, put a storage tote there or maybe a cooler and still have one person join us, or even two if you can squeeze a little person in there. Behind the seats all the way back here is going to be the Dutch oven stand that goes over the fire so we can cook in the Dutch oven. Okay, so up here in the front of the car, we just have the one light bar. It's a 42-inch, just generic LED light bar from eBay. It's $100. If the situation ever arises that we need more light, then we'll buy a better light bar, but this, I'm sure, will be more than enough light. It lights up the world around you. So we have it mounted via rivets, and there'll probably be some more modifications because I don't want it to turn up or down. Underneath the hood, we haven't changed anything. We do plan on getting a snorkel, not so we can go in deep water or anything. BMW doesn't even recommend that you take these through water, but it rains here in Seattle every day, and I go through puddles every day. So I do plan on getting a snorkel just for the cold air, the cold, clean air. I might do just one of those hood snorkels, or do the full-fledged up and over the top snorkel. I don't really care for the look of those. The reason we chose a BMW is just because everyone says we shouldn't. Everyone says it can't be done, it's not made for it, yada yada yada. But you know, everyone's in a Jeep. I don't want to be everyone. I want to be unique. This is a vehicle that we had already, and we were inspired when we already had this vehicle. So that's what we're going to use. And if it breaks down or if it doesn't work out, then congratulations, you guys were right. But if it does work out, then you were wrong, and that will make me happy.
It's cold, and I think that wraps up our walkthrough of the car.
This car?
Yeah, this one. So this is us, and it's our car, and yeah, I'm super excited to share it with you guys.